Okay, let's take a moment. We have over the last few months, we have a lot of new members who haven't had direct exposure to what some of our committees do, and a lot of that work we do is remote or by email, so it's not incredibly visible, but the impacts are. So Jeff wanted to take a moment this morning and talk about what the scholarships committee has been up to, and he's brought a guest and a video presenter to tell us what the impacts are for those people that we grant scholarships to. Jeff, I'll stop sharing if you want to go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Can you see my screen?
We got it.
Okay, great. So yeah, thank you, Ian. Your slide was actually much better than mine, so we need to talk. I wanted to go over what our committee does. That's Competitions and Scholarships Committee. Up on the screen, you can see the very active committee members. The chairs are Brian Plumley and Jennifer Coriel. You have Randy Mendoza, Julie Elcock, Lori Pryor, Michael Paizen, Dan Johnson, and then yours truly. It doesn't seem to be moving. There we go. So with our scholarship committee, it's mostly heavy on towards the back end of the year. When we set up the meetings for the scholarships, it's super exciting and it's great to be able to meet a lot of the graduating seniors for Arcata High. We give out two types of scholarships. We try to specify for the trades or vocational and then also academic. And so we do that. That's usually that is comprised of 3 days of interviews with the students and then selection at the end of the third day. We also have help out with judging for History Day, which is, I mean, it's a 1 day, you get to be a judge and the students are the teachers. So it is just so much fun and a blast. That's usually held up at HSU. And you might hear be asked to volunteer and please do it. Try it if you haven't ever done it before, or if you have, come on back. We also do RILA. And so RILA usually is students are selected from Interact. And I put in here Nick as a star because he's basically works with the Interact kids and just in general, Nick's a star. We also do the top 10% breakfast, and we work with the Sergeant at Arms Committee. And that's where we have the students and parents celebrate the achievements of the Arcata High students for the past 4 years. And then scholarship recipients and checks are announced to the club. We do a pancake breakfast to help the College and Career Center, and it also, the ticket sales goes to culinary. And then we do senior night hosted by AHS, where we announce our scholarship winners. And so with that, that's basically the responsibilities and duties of the scholarship committee, competitions and scholarships. We have Hannah Henry, who is one of the scholarship recipients today. Cecilia, I'm gonna have Hannah, I'm gonna play the video here, and then we'll get a live talk and interaction with Cecilia. So I'm gonna start the video right now. Does anybody from the club have any questions about competitions and scholarships? Okay, I'll start the video. Whoops. Hopefully I will.
We can get a little more volume, Jeff.
Is that okay? Yeah.
The volume on your computer maybe first.
Okay. Yep. Try that.
And if not, we can go to Cecilia too. That's fine.
Okay. So it's the volume on my computer is 100. What I might be able to do, let me see.
Hey, Jeff,
Yeah.
when you share with Zoom, there's a little checkbox in the lower left that says share computer audio. You need to check that box. So if you do a reshare, it'll share the audio.
Okay.
Thank you, Amanda.
This happens on a daily
Yep.
basis.
You would think I would know this, but thank you. Hopefully, there. So you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. But for whatever reason, it's slow. I'll tell you what, Cecilia, would you like to just hop on and say a few words, tell us what you're doing and how you're doing, and then I'll work out the issues here?
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, as Jeff said, so my name's Cecilia Eggleston. I'm a molecular, cellular, and developmental biology major at UCLA. I just completed my first year. I graduated from Arcata High in the class of 2020. And I'm just about to start my second year. I actually move into my dorms in 1 week, which is very exciting, and I'll be starting in-person classes for the first time. This last year, all of my classes were online, and that did definitely pose some challenges. Like most of my classes had 200 to 400 students, and that did create a lot of barriers when it came to connecting with teachers, but I was able to get involved with other students virtually. At UCLA, I've gotten involved with several organizations for like underprivileged students, which have provided me a lot of support. It was definitely a big transition going to college and then starting at such a competitive school, but through my support network, I learned a lot of new study and work habits. And this last year, I achieved a 3.8 GPA. Outside of school, a lot of my free time I spend like hiking, exercising, and I think this year I really spent a lot of time focusing on mental health, and then just, which has really taught me how important it was to like give love to your support network and give love to your own mental health. Next year, I plan to start working in a research lab. I'm actually in the middle of applying right now. As well as get involved with a medical news outlet and then some other pre-health clubs on campus. Most importantly, I've been attending seminars on policy advocacy for students who have experienced homelessness, and I want to use my experiences with homelessness and my experiences with policy to do advocacy work of my own. This last year at UCLA, I think it taught me a lot about what I want to do with my career. I want to go to a career in medicine, and since UCLA is such a health-oriented school, it's been very motivational. It's been very inspiring, and I specifically have gotten really passionate about molecular biology. I had to take all my intro biology classes this year, and I just had this amazing molecular bio teacher, and I decided that's what I wanted to focus on. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about myself, but I really wanted to take a moment to express how much gratitude I have for all your support. Without organizations like yourself, I would not be in the position I am today. Some of you remember, I know a lot of their new faces, but I'm independent. I'm doing everything without the support of parents, and so having organization show their faith in me through a scholarship is really touching and helps me believe in myself. So thank you so much for all your support.
So, does anybody from the club have any questions for Cecilia?
Cecilia, I know that, what our club has given you in a recurring scholarship is a very small piece of a very large bucket that is needed to go to a school like you're attending. In what ways, for the knowledge of our club members at large, does each small part help with your daily needs there at the school?
Yeah, so I'm in a unique position. So since I'm an independent, like financial aid covers all of my tuition and housing through like Pell Grant, student loans, and Cal Grant. But anything else past that is like any sort of living expenses, textbooks, anything like that, that's out of my pocket. So having scholarships makes it so much easier and so much less stressful, like not having that financial strain, because that allows me to not have to work always during school, which is like, that's huge for my academic performance.
Just getting by with the academics can be a full-time job in and of itself. We all know that.
Yeah.
Well done. You're an inspiration to all of us that you're out there doing it. And we're glad that you're finding your path so early in your college career. So well done.
Yeah. Thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you for joining today. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can do. See if this will work now with
Hi,
video.
my name is Hannah Henry. For those of you that don't know, I graduated from Arcata High in 2018, and I'm currently a senior at Linwood University in St. Charles, Missouri. I plan on graduating in May of 2022. My third year of college, I spent here at Linwood in St. Charles, Missouri. Like I just said, it was my second year here. I transferred after my freshman year due to campus closure, and I was on one of the 3 cheerleading teams in the program here at Linwood University, small co-ed intermediate. Along with being a part of the cheer program, I was a community engagement specialist for Linwood's Center of Diversity and Inclusion. For both semesters, we were hybrid. So we had the option to go into class if we wanted to, or if we wanted to remain online. We could join in on the conference call, or if you wanted to work full time, you could go back and watch the lecture that was happening during class that day or weeks prior. For the first semester, I had a 15-hour caseload. I took Principles of Managerial Accounting, Principles of Marketing, Principles of Management, and Intro to Astronomy with a lab. And then for my second semester, I had another 15-hour caseload, and I took Principles of Finance, Human Resource Management, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and Digital Photography too. I also forgot to tell you that I am a business administration major with an emphasis in management, so you can see my path now with all those classes. Considering that this last year was still not normal, being remote by choice, I was able to continue a GPA of 3.48, and I made the dean's list here for the first time. I also had the opportunity to compete. We actually made it down to Daytona, Florida, where myself and the rest of the cheerleading program was able to compete. We didn't have to do anything virtual. We actually got to go and compete in person, and it was life-changing. So like I said, that this year was different in many ways. It was also extremely successful, and I was able to accomplish a lot of my goals. After all of the heartbreak that I had this season prior with having my season cut short and having to be sent home early and having to finish my sophomore year out, it was very successful. I cannot say anything less than that. A lot of the states and universities didn't allow for cheerleading to occur, let alone compete, whereas Missouri and Linwood allowed for us to travel all the way to Daytona. And we not only won 1 title, not 2 titles, but Linwood came back between the dance team and the cheerleading team with 4 titles. And we broke Linwood history. So 2 out of the 3 cheerleading teams that went took first, and the third team took second. And then both of the Linwood dance teams that went double titled. Considering I have never been able to compete at Daytona, it was extremely eye-opening, and it was truly a dream come true. As a cheerleader for the last 9 years, I could never have asked for a better experience. Walking onto that stage and seeing the crowd that has been posted all over Netflix with the cheer documentary, it was a crazy feeling. Your nerves, your adrenaline is through the roof. But the minute that music turned on and my body went into autopilot with all the muscle memory and all the hard work I had put in, and then we get to the dance after we had hit an entire routine, 0 deductions, there was no mistakes, it was a completely flawless routine, and having the entire crowd clapping and cheering for you as you're finishing your routine, it is an experience I will never forget. And luckily I have the opportunity to do it again this year. If I had to summarize my 3 years in college, this last year would have been my absolute favorite year. I grew so much as a person. I had so many opportunities to go out and into the community. I was able to be a 50-50 girl at the raceway and build up our program by saying, not only am I a worker for the Worldwide Raceway Technology Raceway, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, or like I was able to promote Linwood University as a whole. And I cannot thank Rotary enough for giving me the scholarship that you did, because without it, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did and the last 3 years. The scholarship paid for my cheer bill every single year. I have to pay so much every year to make sure that I stay in. Basically, I have to pay for choreography and gear and Daytona fees and so many things. And without that scholarship that Rotary gave me, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford it. And it relieves so much stress for me. And I cannot thank everybody enough, because it's given me an opportunity that I can never take back. So once again, thank you. And yeah.
Okay. And that was Hannah Henry. So yeah, Hannah had many other scholarships as well, and one of those was for cheerleading, and she was in South Carolina, I think, and couldn't make today's presentation due to being in classes. So Cecilia, I wanted to thank you so much for coming today and sharing with the club.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was great to come out.
Yeah. And that's it for scholarships. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, for filling us in on what the committees have been up to and the impacts it has for the individuals that we fund. So that's great to hear about. Much appreciated.